Hey, what's up everyone? This is Francis over here from Nintendo and PlayerEssence.com, and I have a brand new series for you guys, and it's going to be called Let's Talk. And it basically just goes over some of the more interesting topics and other things, whether it's relating to Nintendo or how a different company can impact Nintendo in their business and other things like that. A lot of you guys have been requesting that I do something like this as far as talk about these topics, as far as outside of Nintendo, outside of my PlayerEssence.com channel, because if you go to PlayerEssence.com, of course, I'll talk about all sorts of different variety of, gaming when it comes to Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo and everything. So I wanted to kind of have it as like a liaison, kind of bring that over to my Nintendo channel and have how certain things can affect Nintendo in the industry. So the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is remastered editions. This was one of the big hot topics that's coming about, especially with all the different remasters that are coming out. So Sleeping Dogs, that basically is getting a remastered edition on the PS4 and Xbox One that's coming out this year. And of course we have The Last of Us remastered, even though it just came out last year on the PS3. And of course, Nintendo has done their remasters with The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD, and now we actually have a new rumor about another remastered game that's coming from a pretty reliable source. But I do want to talk about remasters a little bit, and this is the type of thing about me. I try to refrain from being a hypocrite when it comes to remasters, and I went on the Logic cast the other day, and they were kind of just destroying The Last of Us, that game being remastered. And, I kind of came in there and I tried to play a little bit of devil's advocate, but I really wasn't too down on it. I mean, yeah, it's not cool, I guess, for the people, who had just bought the game and all, and there really was no trade-in or discount program. But I look at it as this. Any system that starts out gets off to a rocky start as far as content goes. I mean, the PS4 is still selling amazingly well, and that's good. Sony has put a lot of money into the system as far as marketing and all that goes, so they're selling what they're selling. And they need games. And obviously, getting out The Last of Us remastered, that was going to be something that they can get out quicker than actually making more original, newer games, as a lot of their games are being delayed. So, for instance, like Drive Club. So Drive Club got delayed. Order 1886, that game got delayed. So you have to look at it as they're trying to get games out at a certain clip and steady pace. And even if you look at that, they still haven't released that many first-party games in this first year of the PS4's life. So the fact that they were able to get that game out and they were able to let a lot of people play that game that maybe didn't get a chance to play it, because the PS3 sold 80 million plus and The Last of Us only sold 7 million. So there's still a lot of PS3 owners that didn't play the game. So the fact that some of them, they could have jumped over and bought a PS4 or for some reason didn't buy the PS3 version, they get a chance to play it. Is it kind of crappy? Yes. Look, I understand all the negative aspects of it. You don't have to go in the comment section and start trashing, what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that it does provide something for those users, and it is much better. They did, double the frame rate. They did improve a lot of the stuff with the game. So it's not like it was just such a vanilla port like we see on the Wii U, just really crappy, lazy Xbox 360 ports. We actually saw an enhanced port, or remake, or whatever you want to call it. Now, if you're going to move this onto Nintendo, so the rumor is that Nintendo is having a big remastered game. So I talked about this in the Logic cast, I personally would like Metroid Prime to be remade. And the reason why I want Metroid Prime to be remade is because a lot of people did not get a chance to play that game. And that game was a bit difficult as far as for a lot of players. It was a bit difficult. If you put it in today with Miiverse support and some of the stuff that the community can do, I think people would really rally around that type of core experience on the Wii U. Plus, if you go back and check out Metroid Prime on the GameCube, that game still to this day looks amazing. Imagine that in 1080p, 60 frames per second on the Wii U. And the crazy thing about that game is on the GameCube, it ran progressive scan 60 frames per second without a hitch. So if they can bring that over to the Wii U, I think that would be an experience that a lot of people would really love. And I think that that would be something that can really drive the Wii U, even though it was a remaster or a remake. And I know that The Last of Us, since that game came out in 2013, is completely different from Metroid Prime on the GameCube, which came out, in 2001, 2002, sometime around then. Completely understand. Not trying to compare the two. What I am saying is that remasters can be a good thing, and I like remasters, and I think that especially with The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. That was a fantastic remaster, but I think it's time to move on. If they did Metroid Prime, or even if they did F-Zero GX, one of those games would really please the fans that have been hungering for that type of game on the Wii U, and would give some aesthetic variety to the Wii U's lineup, giving something a little bit more realistic, a little bit more gritty from a first party standpoint. That's kind of different from some of the games that have been released, like Wii Sports and like Kirby on the 3DS, or like Super Mario 3D World, or games like that, or even Kirby on the Wii U, Yoshi's Woolly World, giving us some variety, just like Bayonetta 2 is doing, just like Xenoblade Chronicles is doing. So that's what I think about that. Now, as far as the hypocrite thing that I said, and what I mean by hypocrite, I talked about this before, and people are harping on The Last of Us because it came out 2013 and got a remaster in 2014. But if Nintendo was to remaster The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Skyward Sword, if they were to remaster that game, and if they released that game on the Wii U in 2012, let's say they released it in 2011 on the Wii, and then in 2012 it was a launch title, or it was like, a little bit right after the Wii U came out, I would totally buy that game and be happy. Now, there is different circumstances, because the Skyward Sword is not my favorite one, and I did not like the motion controls. So if they added gamepad controls and all that, the inventory on that, that would be the reason why I bought it. But it's the same thing, though. It's the same predicament as The Last of Us. So I can't sit here and be a hypocrite about the whole situation and say, oh, that's horrible that Sony did that. But if Nintendo were to do that with Skyward Sword, I would have went out there and bought it day one, no problem. Now, I know every Nintendo fan would not do the same thing, and hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from, but I personally would have done that. So, to ask you guys a question about that, if Nintendo was to do that with Skyward Sword, would you have went out and bought that remaster? And what is your take overall on remasters? Because this has become a really hot topic, so I would love to hear you guys' opinions on the matter. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. And as far as the show goes, this is pretty much how the format's going to be. I don't want any music or any other things kind of clouding my message. I just kind of want to get what I want to get out and let you guys know how I feel about a topic or a subject. And I'll be doing these regularly. So if you like them, please make sure you like the video and subscribe if you're someone new. Not only will you get shows like this, but you'll also get edited and awesome shows like the Super Smash Bros. Show, and of course Player Essence Cross Nintendo. So look forward to all of that. Alright, make sure you check out the description below. They'll have all the links to some of the stuff that I talked about. Plus, they'll take you over to playeressence.com, where you can get all your news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks. Alright, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you for the next episode of Let's Talk. Peace.